The first thing that I kind of make sure students understand is just making sure that they know the importance of how to hold the instrument. So make sure that as you guys are holding the violin, that you're paying attention to keeping the violin level to the ground. You don't want to have it down like this. What this does is actually causes your bow to really kind of fall off the strings. It makes us basically fight gravity as we're trying to play. So make sure that your instrument is level when you're first starting. Next thing I want to make sure you guys are able to do is hold the instrument with no hands. So as you can see, I have no hands on the instrument. I'm holding it up between my chin and my shoulder. That allows me to be free in being able to actually place my hand on the instrument but not relying on the hold. The reason for this is that we eventually want to be able to move the hand up and down as well as do what we call vibrato. Vibrato is when we shake the finger to make a beautiful sound. So this is what vibrato sounds like. So now if I was grabbing the instrument really tight, I wouldn't get that nice vibrato. I would get more of this. Like that. So if you guys are first starting out, most students, what they do is they rely on holding it here, and then that really restricts them later to be able to do vibrato and shift. So make sure that you guys are getting really good at this. You can walk across the room and back, trying to keep it level, trying to not rely on holding it. That would be the first thing that I teach beginners. Next thing you probably want to make sure of is that you have what's called a shoulder rest, and there's different types of shoulder rests. It's basically a tool that goes in the back of the instrument. There's a lot of different types of shoulder rests out there. I highly recommend just visiting different websites and doing some research. I personally like Coon shoulder rests. I think they're really comfortable, and they help in being able to hold the instrument more secure with not quite as much effort. So it's not something you have to have, but it's definitely going to be helpful to be able to do this technique in fundamental properly. So that would be the next thing I tell students. Next, I would want to make sure that you guys understand proper placement of the left hand. We'll get to the right hand in just a moment. So the left hand is basically the hand that actually goes onto the instrument. So what I want to make sure you guys do is understand the 4 steps that I tell every student. You guys might want to write this down. Step 1 is making sure that your thumb position is right here. Most students, when they start playing, they just kind of grab the instrument randomly and they don't really have much attention to detail. But it's very important to have attention to detail when it comes to this. Make sure the thumb is here, not here. See how far back this is? We want to be here. About an inch away from the nut. My thumb goes. Don't have it too high. Don't have it too low. Try to just have it just right. That's step 1. Step 2 is making sure that your hand is far back to where it actually is right up against the nut. This is the nut. I mentioned the thumb goes an inch from the nut. We want the hand to actually be right up against the nut. So notice my thumb is here and my hand is here. A lot of students, they start playing the violin with their hand here, which causes a lot of issues later because eventually we want to be able to find notes back there. But see how I'm having to reach back to do that? I don't want to do that. I want to just be in a position where I can just squeeze my finger back, which is a lot less effort and allows me to be more accurate. So really important for these 2 things to be in place, the thumb and the hand back. Next, I want to make sure that my hand is high enough. So a lot of students, when they start playing, their hand is really low, like this, instead of being up higher. This little difference between here and here makes the world of a difference. The reason is that when you're playing notes in the violin, you want to just be able to let your fingers fall down without any sort of reach or extra effort. If I'm low, though, I have to kind of do this to find my notes. And I don't want to do that. So we want to make sure the hand is high enough. Ideally, you can find a note on the thinnest string here, and also find the 4th finger on the thickest string without moving the hand. And that's how high you should be. So if I was down here, sure I could find the 1st finger, but then my hand would have to creep up to find that 4. So we want to actually just be in that position all the time. Okay, so we have the thumb position, we have the hand back, we have the hand high. Step 4 is turn about an inch away from the fingerboard. Okay? If you guys do those 4 steps, you're in the perfect position to be able to find notes in the violin. 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. Once you're there, you're going to be able to find notes on the E string, notes on the G string, and basically have minimal effort. So now when my hand is this high, I actually have to put very little pressure into the string. I'm about as efficient as you can get so I can play fast. So I'm just relying on my fingers to find all the notes like this and not actually my hand. Then I can play fast, efficient, and in tune.